In this video, I'm going to show you the exact template that I utilize with my executive assistant that has allowed me to save over 20 hours a week of busy work that used to be on my plate that now I could spend doing other things, which has allowed me to work less while at the same time taking home more profit. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. So as we dive in here to what I call the Kodi operating system, if you want to get access to this resource, you can actually go to the description below and get this resource downloaded so you can implement this with your executive assistant that maybe you have now, or maybe you're planning to hire an admin assistant at some point. This will be super helpful so you don't have to start from scratch like I did. So let's just go through this on each individual tab here and give you some ideas of how we utilize this on a day-to-day basis. As this was created, when I first hired my executive assistant, I didn't have this. And so one of the first things I tasked her to do was to build the Kodi operating system. Thus, this was born. And as you see at the bottom, there are multiple tabs, and those just have grown month over month as I've wanted more things to get help with in my personal and professional life. So pretty self-explanatory on this first tab here. Really, this is just somewhere where she keeps her own to-do list, because this is a mix of like personal and professional things for me. So I could jump on here and then just see what's on her list. And I could also come on here and I could see if she has an item that's a task. And I'm like, ooh, I really need that done soon. So can you raise that? I'm going to raise it in priority. So I'll come on here and I'll adjust things and say, maybe there's an event that I'm going to. And I'm like, crap, I need to get all this stuff booked. So I'll lower priority maybe in a couple areas, and I will leave the high priority for what I need done. And, I could put in and change due dates and let her know on that as well. And then any notes that may be associated with the task. So pretty self-explanatory there, but let's go to the next ones where it starts to get more interesting. So when it comes to account logins, accesses, we have since migrated a lot of this over to a platform called LastPass, where essentially she could log into most of these through a secure two-factor authentication platform, which is, again, LastPass. I thought I would keep this here so that you can see some of the things that I'm having her help me with. And, having help with a lot of these things has helped me, again, like I started off in the video, over 20 plus hours a week, some weeks probably even more realistically. You'll see here there's, some household related items where, for example, I don't even know who the landscapers are that service my house. Like, she coordinates the landscapers. She makes sure that, they're there servicing the property, keeping up, the exterior of my home. She coordinates the cleaners to come there every couple of weeks so that, the house stays clean. For our dog Lola, we have, a poop scooper that, they come once a week, and they, I have turf at my house. So she coordinates, with them, which is, like the notes section here. Once a month, she's making sure that the company that's doing the poop scoop, that they keep that clean from dog pee and things like that. Also, pays my mortgage, my HOA, all my home insurance, auto insurance, keeps those up to date. Other things like registration, she renews my cars, takes them to emissions when they need to be taken there. Other things car related, just the last couple of weeks, for some reason, they're doing construction outside my neighborhood. I got 2 flat tires on 2 of my vehicles. And so she, picks the cars up, takes them to the shop, gets the tires taken care of, while I could be doing stuff like this that is actually helping my business grow. She can take care of those things, and it frees up more of my time. So that's some on the personal side. Obviously, some mailing address stuff. If, she's coordinating with vendors or she's ordering things, she just knows where I want things to be sent to. And then obviously I just left this here for just examples of different things that she had logins to, which, again, like I said, most of this now is on LastPass. And that's a tool that I would recommend if you're going to share, logins with an executive assistant, admin assistant of any kind, or person of any kind, really. So that is the account login access. The next one is calendar notes. So why did I have this put together? Well, to be a successful business owner and to really make sure that I'm maximizing my time, I'm super deliberate about how I'm spending my time, where I'm spending it, and what I allow on my calendar and what I don't. There's another video on my YouTube channel where I go over how I plan my day and plan my weeks. And so you can check out that video after to see how I set that up. But these calendar notes, I just erased like my actual personal info from the other doc. But gym schedule, basically, I have a personal trainer that is scheduled at the same days and times every week. And then there's also, certain days that I don't want to have meetings. I don't do meetings, for example, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. My meeting days are for Mondays and Tuesdays for one-on-ones and for company meetings. And so my Wednesday through Friday, I'm able to do creative work and I'm able to work on the projects and things that I want to work on. And so I don't allow meetings on those days unless they're like podcasts or content or things like that. The other thing is the goal, which is more just explanation of when I want to do meetings, my preferences, the time of day I like to do certain types of meetings. I get super granular there. And on here, for example, the not scheduling meetings. I don't want to have meetings ever before 10 a.m. Like never put something on my calendar before 10 a.m. Not because I sleep in late, I get up at 5:30 every morning, but because I have my morning to work on myself, my fitness, having a healthy breakfast, being able to do my creative work in the morning, and as well as my Smart Day, Smart Week, which is, again, another video on my YouTube channel. And then just other little nuances, right? Because the more clear that you can be with your assistant, the more successful the outcomes will be that you give them to do for you. And so, if I have a meeting from 1 to 2 and then I have another meeting from 2 to 3 and I'm back to back, I may not have time to prep for that. So whenever she's scheduling things, I have her create that buffer. Personal appointments, again, just another preference thing. A tool that we use is Calendly. And so whenever people are going to book, it has all of my preferences preset into Calendly. So she sends that out to people if they want to schedule it to meet with me. Also, just event speaking requests or different things like that. They typically are going to end up going through her to get in touch with me. And then our company, we have, collectively over 100 W-2 employees across the country. And so we are, I guess, more professionalized in the sense of we have multiple days off of the year that are, they're just off days. And I don't pay attention to that because I'm a business owner. I'm an entrepreneur. I just work. I go to work. Unless it's like Christmas or Thanksgiving, I'm working because I want to, not out of, I have to, but it's like I want to. Sometimes I just don't know that the team's going to be off on a Monday, that it's some, holiday that's decided by the government as a holiday. So we have the day off. And so sometimes I don't know that. So I have her put that in my calendar. So I just am aware of what's going on. Other thing, food preferences. So as I'm making this video, my assistant Rochelle is literally going and grabbing my Starbucks order for me right now. But, I have a couple preferences. Like there's 2 different drinks that I like. That's why I have, the 2 options here. And then lunch orders. And when I want to eat lunch, I gave her this range of time so that, she's able to make sure that I have my lunch when I want it. And the restaurants, if I'm going to eat out, I have my favorite restaurants here that fit within my macros that I'm sticking within. And I have the meals that I like to eat from those restaurants with the macros put in there. And then the fridge requests, this was only going to be relevant for you if you have an in-person assistant, but I have a fridge in my office. And so I just keep a list of things that I want stocked at all times. So I'm never out of, my favorite drinks, never out of my favorite snacks and things. So I could just, have that available. And then, just allergies, just additional more food preference stuff. That's been helpful. Moving on. Travel preferences. Again, I left this here for the example. Most of this is in LastPass now. This is something that has been super helpful because we all have a certain way that we like to travel and preferences with our travel. And so I have preferred airlines that I want to travel on, whether it's be from points or whether it's convenience or whether it's, certain just preferences overall. And so I have my preferred airlines and then I have my preferred seating arrangement. Because think about this. If you just hire an assistant and you're like, book me a flight to Florida, and from Arizona, and they're like, okay, and they book you a flight at 11 p.m. on a red eye, they put you in a middle seat in the back of the plane, and now you're unhappy. Well, that's your fault because you didn't communicate what you're looking for. So I give my preferences of the airlines that I want to fly on, and then my preferred seating arrangement. I only want to be on the aisle. If I'm going to be somewhere in economy, if it's first class, I'm open, but I'd prefer still to be on the aisle. These are the preferences that I have here so that when she's booking travel, I don't have to think about it. I just say, hey, I'm going to this state and I need to be there. These are the dates that I need to be there. And then she could just go. She knows the airlines I want to fly on. She knows my seating arrangements. She knows my preference of when I want to be flying in generally. I don't want to get up at 4 a.m. for a flight. I also don't want to go fly at 11 p.m. So she knows that. And then hotel and Airbnb preferences. So on this, I have, like the favorite hotel chains, if it's like business work travel, that I just have a few preferences that I prefer to stay at that are, economical, but also nice for business. And then I have my personal. It's like, okay, if I'm traveling personally for fun, for vacation, this is more so what I'm looking for, the types of hotels that I'd be okay staying in or not staying in. Based off of that. And so again, this then creates ease for me so that whenever I am planning travel, I could just say, I'm going here, and then I don't have to think about it. And then all of this stuff is booked. It's on my calendar. My preferences are all followed, and I could just spend my time again doing the work that matters. Then we're moving on to email preferences. And I have personal mail on here. Again, if you have someone in person, that's helpful. If not, you don't need to use it. But on email, so name of person, that's where you'd put your name. Obviously, I have my name on there. And so this one thing alone within all of these areas has saved me countless hours of wasted time and energy. I don't review my emails myself. She reviews all of my emails and then puts literally, like, imagine if I, for every 100 emails I get, there's probably about 5 to 10 of those emails that I actually end up reviewing, because those are going to be the things that fall into here. One-off situations, big requests, big clients, big potential opportunities, big deals that I'm working on, anything that she would think that I'd want to review. And when she first started doing this, she would send me a lot of stuff I didn't want to review, but that's where we started adding, okay, no, I don't really need to see that type of stuff. Or, oh yeah, I do want to send that. Thanks for making sure that ended up in my folder. And then I have the other folders that are based off of what she's working in my inbox. So, anything that comes in that needs to be responded to, she'll put it in this box and she'll just get to it when she can. Review, this is something that originally we would meet on a daily basis when she was first starting, and we would review the things she was uncertain about. But after a couple months of doing that, now she just knows, and she has her own notes, and there's very few things that are sitting in the review for us to touch base on. Responded, anything that she responds to, she puts in here, so I could go and check her responses to make sure she's not saying something I wouldn't agree with, so I can review those at any time. I don't really go in there much anymore, but again, those first couple months, it was helpful. Waiting on, some event that I'm going to, and there's some travel arrangements being coordinated, but they're waiting for some details. Maybe that's something that would sit in there. Bills, financials, just anything financial related, that's just all bucketed in that folder. And this is all just set up in Gmail is how we do this. Newsletters, don't really have too much of this. There's a couple things I like to look at when it's sent, and so there's very few things that end up in here, but it's there nonetheless. The other thing is just notes on what I expect. Monday through Friday is when she monitors my email. She doesn't monitor it on the weekend, but Monday through Friday she does. And so the goal is every business day she's responding by end of business day, unless it's after hours. The other thing is if there's certain types of requests or email asks that come through on a regular basis, she'll end up turning those into some canned responses. So she could just literally go take a copy and then paste it directly into the response. So it's more efficient and faster. The other thing here as well, setting up things in the calendar. I have specific Calendly links for specific things, whether it's personal one-on-ones with people, whether it's, team members that are scheduling with me, whether it's outside vendors, whether it's, Scale with Pros, one-on-one students, and that they're scheduling time with me. She has individual calendars that open up certain slots based off of those things. And so that's kind of some rules here. And then in regards to scheduling calls, there's 3 things that I want to see before I'm going to take any meeting, because I don't want to waste my time, is making sure that we know what's the purpose of the call, what is the agenda that we want to cover on the call, and then what is the outcome that we're looking for when this call is over. I want to know that, otherwise I'm not getting on. And if there's no agenda, there is no attenda from Cody. I'm not coming. And I don't mean that in like a negative way. It's just we have so many things to do, and I oversee a portfolio of companies. I can't waste my time with things that don't have a purpose behind them. So that's reference there. Personal mail management, that was a newer thing that I had, where she gets my personal mail and the business mail from our company's office mailbox. And so she basically just sorts through all of that. The only things that I ever want to see is if there's like a personal letter or a personal gift or something for me or my fiance, or if there's something from the IRS, because I want to know if there's something from the IRS. Other than that, if it's bills, pay them and get rid of them. Just make sure all of those get taken care of. So that is what we do in regards to this. The other things that we'd added is, team members, obviously on their birthdays and on their, 1-year anniversaries between our different companies. I like to reach out to people and, celebrate them. And we, give them a handwritten card and a gift card that's for me personally, when they're having these birthdays or these anniversaries. And it's not realistic for me to be able to remember all of the different people's specific birthdays and anniversaries. So we have a process for it, and this is the process. And so that we're able to make sure that, we have a system behind helping follow through on these types of things. Then the final one is just client gift list. So this is, any big vendors, any big partners, any big relationships that I have. We have their information here. If I want to send them out something, and this is also family too. So it's like, do I send them something on Christmas, birthday, Valentine? Yes, no. If so, what are we sending them? And that's something that we just touch base on every month for, what's coming up for that upcoming month and what we're going to do. So this, in a nutshell, is the Cody operating system and is being added onto continuously. So if you go in the description below and you download this, you may see even additional items on here at some point in the future, because this is something we're building on. The first couple months, we only had these first couple items, and we started adding on as we were maturing in the business relationship here and how to get additional support. So that's how we built this thing. Having this will save you countless hours of time, frustration, around figuring out how to set this up. So that's why it's my gift to you to be able to just copy the exact thing that we utilize, and has been super helpful for me and for my assistant, Rochelle. And by the way, if you're a business owner and you're looking to turn your company into a self-managing, high-profit company, what you can do is go to the description below and click the link to learn more about the Scale with Pros Mastery program that I've put together that specializes in installing my company's profit-powered scaling systems directly into your company so that you can create that high profit, self-managing company to be able to do more of the things that you love, which is why you got into business in the first place. So with that being said, click the link in the description below, and we'll see you in the next video.